Okay, so get this. What if AI could be even bigger than e-commerce? And I'm not talking about some vague robots taking over the world scenario.
Right.
We're diving into machine buying today, you know?
Uh-huh.
That kind of AI that could actually, like, do your shopping for you.
Yeah?
We found this video, this AI expert, Adam Rang, breaks it all down, and honestly, my mind was blown.
Yeah, it's actually really fascinating how this whole machine buying thing, it really echoes those, early days of the internet. You remember?
Oh, totally.
Back when everyone was like, dial up,
Oh,
like skeptical about buying anything online.
I remember those, like, clunky websites.
Yeah.
Waiting, like, hours for a single image to load.
Wasn't there that Newsweek article, like way back when, that basically said e-commerce would never take off?
Totally, yeah, exactly. And just like the internet back then, AI today, it's surrounded by all this hype.
Yeah.
But beneath that, there's a lot of potential. So are we really saying that AI, this machine buying thing, it could be as big as e-commerce was? That's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, I mean, it might sound kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but, the source material lays out some really compelling arguments.
Yeah.
Think about it. How much of our lives revolve around just buying stuff?
Huh.
Groceries, clothes, electronics. It's constant.
Yeah.
And it can be like a real time suck.
Totally. Yeah.
Now imagine AI just took care of all of that for you.
All right, I'm intrigued. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's break it down. What exactly is machine buying? Are we talking like robots pushing shopping carts around the supermarket?
Not quite, no. It's more like having this super-powered digital personal shopper working behind the scenes for you.
Okay.
Machine buying uses all these sophisticated algorithms, these AI agents, to, handle everything.
Okay.
From researching products, comparing prices, to like placing orders, and even dealing with returns if you need to.
So less Terminator, more like a really, really efficient assistant?
Exactly. And it's not some like futuristic fantasy either.
Yeah.
Companies, big companies, I mean Walmart, they're already using AI to negotiate with suppliers.
Walmart's already doing this.
Yeah.
See, now that is interesting. Okay, so how does it work for, like, the average person? What's in it for us?
Well, that's where it gets really exciting. Machine buying could like really empower consumers in ways we've never even like thought of before.
Okay.
Imagine this. Your AI assistant could just sift through mountains of data, comparing prices, reading all the reviews, and even factoring in ethical sourcing to find like the absolute best product for your needs.
Whoa, hold on. So that's like having a whole team of researchers just like working for me.
Right.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second. Businesses wouldn't be jumping on this if it didn't benefit them too, right?
Right.
So what's the catch?
That's a really great question. And honestly, the catch might be that it's actually a win-win for both sides.
Okay.
While it's true that this could lead to more transparency, potentially lower prices for consumers, it also offers businesses some serious advantages too.
Like what?
Well, I mean, think about it. Machine buying can really streamline the entire buying process, right? Makes it faster, way more efficient. This means businesses can negotiate better deals, manage their inventory more effectively, even anticipate those market trends, before they happen.
Yeah.
Which, translates to lower costs and higher profits for them.
So it's less about like consumers versus businesses and more about both sides benefiting from this technology.
Exactly.
That's a refreshing change from like the usual tech-driven power struggles.
Mhm.
But how far along are we really? It all sounds pretty futuristic.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, we're already on our way. The expert in the video we were talking about,
Yeah.
he actually breaks machine buying down into 4 distinct stages.
Okay.
The first stage, what he calls the announcer stage, it's already pretty common.
The announcer stage? What is
Oh.
that?
Think about it like this. You know how when like your printer lets you know that it's low on ink?
Yeah.
That's like the announcer stage
Right.
of machine buying in action.
Okay.
Your device is basically saying, hey, you're going to need this soon, just so you know.
Okay, so it's like a helpful nudge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But that seems a far cry from AI actually making purchasing decisions.
Right.
So what comes after that?
So the next level up is what he calls the bounded stage. And this is where things start to get really interesting. In this stage, devices don't just announce a need, but they can actually take action
Okay.
within a limited set of parameters, of course.
Okay. So what would that look like? Give me an example.
Okay, so remember those like old printers that could automatically order you new ink cartridges when they were running low.
Oh, yeah.
That's a perfect example of this bounded stage.
Yes, those printers that basically held your ink hostage because they would only work with their own brand. Not my favorite example. It sounds like we need a bit more freedom of choice in the mix, right?
Totally. You hit the nail on the head. And that is exactly where the next stage of machine buying comes in, the adaptable stage.
Okay.
In this stage, AI is no longer bound by those super restrictive rules. It can actually compare options from different providers, make recommendations based on, what you like, your preferences.
Okay, now we're talking. So instead of just blindly ordering me more ink from the same overpriced brand, my AI assistant would actually shop around and try and find me the best deal. That's what I call progress.
Exactly. And it's this adaptable stage where we really start to see the potential of machine buying to empower consumers. But it gets even more mind-blowing.
Okay.
The final and the most advanced stage is what he calls the autonomous stage.
Autonomous. All right, so what happens when machines go full-on autonomous with my shopping cart?
All right, so in the autonomous stage, AI is, it's basically operating at a level of sophistication, like mirroring human decision-making.
Yeah.
But with this added bonus of superhuman efficiency.
Okay.
Imagine your AI assistant not just comparing prices and reading reviews, but factoring in things like, your ethical values, budget limits, even your long-term goals.
Okay, so this is where my mind starts to spin a little bit.
Yeah.
It's one thing if it finds me a good deal on toothpaste, right?
Yeah.
But making these complex purchasing decisions based on my values and long-term goals, that almost sounds too good to be true.
It's definitely a big leap.
Yeah.
And it really raises questions about how much control, we're willing to give up, to relinquish to AI, right?
Yeah.
But think about it this way. We already rely on algorithms for so many things in our lives.
That's true.
Choosing our music, navigating traffic.
Yeah, right.
I mean, machine buying could be seen as a natural extension of that trend, just applied to shopping.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I trust Spotify to curate my playlist, so maybe trusting AI with my shopping isn't that far-fetched.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's get back to the benefits for a second. We talk about how machine buying could help people save time, save money.
Right.
But the video also mentioned this potentially bigger impact on the global economy.
Yeah.
What did they mean by that?
So right now, we tend to measure economic growth primarily through production and consumption.
Right.
How much are we making? How much are we buying?
Yeah.
But what if in an age of AI-driven efficiency, those metrics, they become less relevant?
Okay, so you're saying those traditional ways of measuring economic growth, they might not fully capture the impact of something like machine buying because it's all about optimizing, streamlining the buying process itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. If AI empowers us to buy only what we actually need when we need it at the best possible price, it could lead to a more sustainable and equitable distribution of resources. We could potentially break free from this cycle of overproduction and overconsumption that has come to define our current economic model.
So instead of just focusing on producing and consuming more and more and more, we might start prioritizing smarter, more sustainable consumption habits.
Exactly.
It's like applying that old adage, work smarter, not harder, to the entire global economy.
Right, exactly, yeah.
That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is.
Wow. I have to say, this whole conversation has been one giant aha moment for me.
Yeah.
It's you pulled back the curtain on a whole new way of thinking about AI and its potential impact on our lives.
It's definitely a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And it's one that's already starting to unfold.
Yeah. Yes.
While the fully autonomous stage of machine buying might be a few years off, the technology is rapidly evolving.
Okay, so where do we go from here? Should we all be prepping for a future where our AI assistants handle all of our shopping? What does this actually mean for the average person?
I think it's less about prepping and more about awareness and exploration. Start by thinking about which aspects of shopping you find the most, time consuming or stressful.
Yeah.
Those are the areas where machine buying could really have the biggest impact, positive impact on your life.
That's a really good point. So it's not necessarily about handing over complete control, but rather kind of identifying those pain points where AI could step in, make things easier, more efficient,
Exactly.
maybe even like more aligned with our values.
Exactly. And as with any new technology, it's about staying informed, asking questions, and being open to the possibilities, even if they seem, a little futuristic.
This has been like incredibly eye-opening. But before we let you go, I'm kind of curious about something. This
Yeah.
whole idea of like machine buying is really exciting
Yeah.
and potentially like revolutionary, right?
Yeah.
But it also kind of comes with its own set of challenges and like considerations, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What about the potential downsides? What should we be mindful of, like, as this technology keeps evolving?
Yeah. It's like
Well,
with
yeah.
anything else, any new technology, right?
Right.
There are always those question marks. Like, what should we be watching out for as this machine buying thing, like, really takes off?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is making sure that, these AI systems, they're designed and used responsibly.
Right.
We need to be really mindful of potential biases in the data that's used to train these algorithms.
Yeah.
Because, if an AI is only trained on data from like a certain demographic
Right.
or a certain region, it might not make the best choices for everyone.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's like that old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
If we're not like really careful about the data that we feed these AI systems,
Mhm.
we could end up with bias outcomes or unfair outcomes,
Yeah,
even if it's totally unintentional.
absolutely.
So how do we address that? How do we fix that?
Well, I think transparency is, it's really key here.
We need to understand like how these algorithms are making decisions
Right.
and have those mechanisms in place to,
Yeah.
identify and correct for biases.
Okay.
It's also important to make sure that, consumers have a say in how their data is being used.
Yeah.
And what level of control they want to have over, their AI assistants.
That makes me think about like the privacy concerns too.
Yeah.
AI is going to be like handling all my shopping. It's got access to a lot of like personal information,
Right.
spending habits, my preferences, even like, my values.
Yeah.
That's a little unnerving.
It's understandable to feel that way, for sure.
Yeah.
Privacy is paramount, and any system that's, handling personal data, it needs to have those really strong security measures in place.
Okay.
The goal shouldn't be to like replace human judgment.
Right.
It should be to augment it, to give people, more information and more control.
Okay, so it's less about AI like taking over and more about it empowering us to be like smarter.
Yes. More informed shoppers.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. That's a future I can get behind.
Yeah.
This whole conversation has been really eye-opening.
Good.
But before we let you go, any final thoughts for our listeners out there who are, maybe just wrapping their heads around this whole machine buying revolution?
I would say like don't be afraid to embrace the possibilities,
Okay.
We're really at the cusp of like a major technological shift here.
Yeah.
And like any shift, it comes with its challenges, but it also comes with these amazing opportunities.
Yeah.
Stay informed, ask those questions, and, most importantly, be open to how this technology could actually like reshape our world for the better.
I love it. Embrace the possibilities.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of machine buying, where AI isn't just about robots taking over. It's about, empowering consumers, streamlining businesses, and maybe even redefining how we measure economic growth.
It's exciting stuff. It is exciting stuff. It's a brave new world out there, and we're here to help you navigate it one deep dive at a time. Until next time, happy shopping, everyone.